American state of Hawaii is the most recent addition to the 50 states, situated in an archipelago that expands across the tropic Pacific Ocean. You may have seen a map of Hawaii displaying 4 main islands and several smaller ones, but Hawaii is much more expansive. Let's discover more about it. The Hawaiian Islands originated from the activity of a volcanic hotspot below the Pacific Ocean surface, where volcanic lava has erupted from it for more than 85 million years. As the hotspot moved and the earth plate shifted, a sequence of islands were formed, which gradually eroded to become coral reefs before sinking beneath the water. The major islands in Hawaii are the latest in this sequence and encompass Hawaii Island, also known as the Big Island, followed by the islands of Maui, Oahu, and Kauai. The islands diminish progressively and exhibit less volcanic activity as we head north and west. Hawaii's indigenous inhabitants were aware of this pattern, where they say that the volcanic goddess Pele visited the northern islands first, then moved through the chain until she finally settled on Mount Kilauea, the most active volcano on the Big Island currently. Before we delve into the lesser-known islands, let us take a glance at the main islands. Hawaii Island, or the Big Island, constitutes 63% of the state's land area. The archipelago, which is home to more than 200,000 people, consists of 5 volcanoes on the island. 3 are active, 1 is dormant, and the last one, Mount Mauna Kea, is extinct and is considered to be the highest. It is estimated that this mountain is the tallest in the world, with a height of more than 30,000 feet, or about 9,300 meters, measured from its base under the sea. Maui is the second largest island, and it houses the active volcano Geological. There are also 3 smaller islands present. The first is Molokai, known for the small Kalawao province on its north shore. Lanai, almost entirely owned by Larry Ellison, a technology pioneer. Kahului is the largest uninhabited island in Hawaii, which was formerly used as a munitions testing site. These 4 islands collectively form the Maui province. Around 500,000 years ago, the 4 islands in Hawaii were one giant island that geologists call Maui Nui, or Great Maui. Factors such as erosion, flooding, and rising sea levels led to its division into separate islands over time. Oahu is the most densely populated island in the archipelago. It has a population exceeding 1 million and includes Honolulu City, which has been Hawaii's capital since 1850. Hawaii had various statuses such as a kingdom, temporary republic, American province, and is currently a state. In Oahu, there is the famous Pearl Harbor, which is the American Navy's main base in the Pacific Ocean. It was attacked by Japan in 1941, which resulted in the United States entering the Second World War. Kauai and Niihau are the last 2 islands in the main chain. King Kaumoali'i was the last ruler of the archipelago who surrendered. King Kamehameha I of Hawaii received the surrender in 1810. Kaumoali'i attempted temporarily. In 1815, he tried to put Kauai under the control of the Russian-American company, which controlled the area known today as Alaska. Niihau, on the other hand, is a privately owned island that discourages most visitors. And looking at the fact that Hawaiian islands become older and smaller as you head northwest, it would be expected to find older and smaller islands in the same direction. And this is precisely what happens. These islands are referred to as Northwestern Hawaiian Islands, which are merely ancient remnants of a submerged Hawaiian hotspot which has sunk beneath the sea surface. The waters surrounding these islands are protected by the Papahanaumokuakea Marine National Monument, established in 2006 and expanded. In 2016, all of the islands, with the exception of 1, are part of the state of Hawaii and are administered as part of the city and county of Honolulu in a similar way to Japan's remote islands, which are administratively part of Tokyo. The only exception is Midway Island, known as the site of a decisive battle during World War II, and Midway is now a U.S. territory administered by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service and its former military airfield Henderson Field. It is now used as an emergency landing point for aircraft crossing the Pacific Ocean. The Northwestern Hawaiian Islands are named after modern air names that partly reflect the oral heritage and partly the geographical characteristics of each island. For example, Midway, also known as Kohe Pakawahilini, is a name given to a fictional island floating in the sky, or called Sabamano, after the abundance of birds there. Archaeological evidence suggests that the ancient Huites, they have settled these islands where Niihau has been inhabited continuously by them since about 1400 to 1800. The island of Nakar, also known as Mukumanamana, was a significant religious center where the Hui's people left many traces. French Forget Schultz Pier is the biggest in the chain, mostly lying underwater with some visible land including a volcanic peak. The scientific and English names for the pier come from French explorer Jean-François de la Pérouse, whose ships collided with it. This pier was the site of a Japanese attack attempt on Ohio in 1942 using seaplanes. The peaks of Gardner or Puahono are the visible parts of the world's largest shield volcano in terms of size. Although the peaks do not exceed 6 acres, the volcano contains about 150,000 cubic feet of rock. There are Mario reefs or kohanako, visible above the water at low tides, featuring a salt lake in the middle. This makes these reefs home to birds, which were exploited for their guano in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. This led to the destruction of the ecosystem and rare species, but after years of efforts to restore it, Laysan became home to the birds again. This includes the rare penguin. There is also the island of Laysan or Papahanaumokuakea, which is environmentally similar to Laysan. It is made up of 2 coral docks around 1904. The island's birds were hunted for their feathers. President Theodore Roosevelt announced the island a bird sanctuary in 1909, but this announcement was not adhered to until the hunters were arrested in 1910. Pearl and Hermes or Halukoa Dock is located between Lisianitsky and Midway, and its dry area does not exceed 80 acres, with constant changes in small islands resulting from coral reefs. And finally, the Kerry Pier or Mokyobababa is the northernmost coral reef and is located near the point where Darwin's theory suggests that coral reefs grow at a rate that exceeds their natural erosion. Kerry is more than 1,600 miles away from the southern tip of the Great Island, which is a longer distance than any other U.S. state except Alaska. In fact, Kerry is slightly closer to Matinanyak Island in Alaska than to the southern end of the Grand Island. Away from the land forms the elapsed lightnings that originated from the hot point of Huawei, the Emperor's Naval Mountain Range, it is an underwater mountain range that extends to the end of the Pacific Ocean and does not show any of it above sea level at the moment. There were other islands that politically belonged to Hawaii when it was a kingdom or a territory, such as Johnston and Palmyra Islands, which are now American territories, and perhaps Sikiana Island in the Solomon Islands. Nevertheless, we must mention another significant island in Hawaii, which is the Hawaiian island. Waihokanlo, previously known as Luhi, is a submarine volcano located less than a kilometer below sea level toward the southeastern coast of the Big Island in Hawaii. The ancient scientific name for the volcano derived from its extended shape, while its current name traces back to a historic Hawaiian song and means the red child, who was Lakanalo, the god of the sea, which is appropriate for an underwater volcano. They grow slowly, and this volcano doesn't seem to be in a rush to become a new Hawaiian island. It's expected to happen within the next 10 to 100,000 years. These islands, whether known or submerged, old or still forming, demonstrate the dynamic history of this part of the world and for the people and other creatures that live on it. And don't forget to leave your comments, share your opinions with us, and follow us by subscribing if you'd like to watch more similar content.